we have long said on this show that we will criticise bad legislation no matter who puts it out, and we will congratulate good legislation no matter who puts it out. I suspect we're the only news adjacent show in New Zealand that actively broadcasts where they sit politically. That actively, one half of this group acknowledges what political party they are now a member of. But we do call balls and strikes. This week, we have been a bit critical of Te Pāti Māori with their press release on joining the war because they sent a Hercules plane to the Middle East to help get Kiwis out. And we have been positive around Mark Mistral and David Seymour's response to Destiny Church. So when anyone ever goes to you, oh yeah, but look at their bias, one-eyed, it's like, well, that's true. We do have bias and we are pretty one-eyed, but good policy will still be called good policy. Good ideas will still get called good ideas, and bad ones will still be called bad no matter who does it. We just find that most of the time the right do pretty shithouse ideas and the left do better ones. And that just seems to be how it is. Now, whether that's bias or whether that's just reality, I don't know. Here's one that I'm at least on board for congratulating this government for, and Chewie, you're in the same place. Victims get the final say over naming sex offenders under a new law. Parliament has unanimously passed legislation that will ensure the courts cannot issue a permanent name suppression order for an adult convicted of a sexual offence unless the victim agrees to it. The Justice Minister, Paul Goldsmith, said this made it crystal clear children could not consent to abuse. Oh, that comes back to the law was amended so that children under the age of 12 could not be questioned about whether they consented to sex or not. So Goldsmith said that now children can't be asked about, they can't consent to it no matter what. Yeah. The law further closes what Goldsmith says was a legislative gap by ensuring the victims of all sexual crimes, including intimate visual recording offences, which has been something of recent times, were automatically given name suppression. These changes will help ensure victims of sexual abuse and their needs are returned to the heart of the justice system. We've been clear from day one that victims are our priority as we work to restore law and order. Look, we can skip over some of the backslapping they're doing where some of their other, like it was like the other night, in isolation, that's all we're going to do. In isolation, we are congratulating them for this legislation, because we could debate about that as we work to restore law and order, focus on victims. We won't get that debate tonight. In isolation, tonight, this one legislation, golf clap. Goldsmith said at present victims' views on suppression only had to be taken into account by the courts. Police Minister Mark Mitchell spoke on behalf of the Justice Minister during the third reading. It's abhorrent that the law allows questions about whether children enjoyed or agreed to sexual activity. We're fixing that. I agree. Yeah. I concur. Yep. It is unconscionable that victims feel silenced by our laws, especially when they've braved the scrutiny of the court process to prove their case. We're fixing that too. Mitchell said victims have been clear that name suppression settings had disempowered victims, preventing them from speaking out about their experiences and warning others. New Zealanders also believed the way children were questioned in court was unacceptable, or as Nanny Fine say, unacceptable. MP Kahurangi Carter spoke in favour of the bill on behalf of the Green Party. I know that we all feel this really heavily for victims under 12. It seems so obvious. I'm glad today we're bringing our legislation, our laws into line with what is right. Goldsmith recognised some victims would not want to make the decision about name suppression themselves. In those cases, the decision would rest with the courts. He believed that changes would assist in ensuring 20,000 fewer victims of violent crime by 2029. I'm intrigued about how they've come to this number. But, if that ends up what it's been, then that's amazing if that was the case. I wonder if what they're saying is with name suppression, people feel like they're freer to offend, maybe. Don't know. It would be interesting to have someone ask them about that. While the bill was passed unanimously, there were no Te Pāti Māori MPs in the House at that time. So, congratulations to the government for passing this. It's good legislation. I'm certainly fully in support of it. What about you, Chewie?
Yeah, look, I think that's a good move. Like, I think name suppression in these sort of cases is so important. And I mean, I'm not 100% sure if this was related to it, but like, people used to get automatic name suppression to protect the victims. Like,
Mm.
the offender would get name suppression to protect the name suppression of the victim.
Yep.
And then, even in the cases of the victim were going, well, I don't think that's fair, they actually had to go to quite high lengths to get rid of their own name suppression so the offender could lose theirs, which
I've
just
always
seemed
thought
fucked.
I've always thought with name suppression, and I have talked about this before, is that everyone should get name suppression until a guilty conviction is in place, and that's when you decide. Because there are examples of people who are accused of a crime, found not guilty of a crime, but then that crime sticks with them for the rest of their lives. I just wonder if basically name suppression lasts with everybody until conviction, and then in this instance, the victim gets to decide. In other instances, I guess the courts get to decide. Anyway, that's just me. All right. Anything else on that, Chewie, or anything in the chat you want to get to quickly?
um, just because we're talking about this once in a blue moon fucking unicorn, the government's actually done something good.
Mm-hmm.
The changes to well, you can get over the counter melatonin now,
Yep.
and the prescription magic mushrooms stuff. I
Yep.
think that's a good piece of legislation.
Okay.
Obviously not to the same impact as what we were just discussing, but I mean, I always found it funny, the melatonin thing, that you could just like literally leave New Zealand, go to a pharmacy and just buy it
And
over
bring
the
it back
counter.
with
I
you.
brought I brought some back from the US because sometimes they have trouble sleeping, and I don't want to take a harsher fucking knockout pill that just leaves you feeling shit. And melatonin's a lot better for you. And the stuff around
I've never
psychedelics
had it.
and
I've never had
it's
melatonin.
like it's something you can manufacture in your body for free. You just need the sun.
So
Which
people of
is a
Dunedin
problem
all
down
should be
south.
on melatonin.
And as you get older, you make less of it. This is why old people tend to like just need to operate on 2 hours worth of sleep. So yeah, the thinking was that if it's completely unrestricted, then everybody's taking it and they can't make their own. I think that was the concern, but it's not seen as a problem overseas.
Yeah. All right. So there's 3 congratulations to the government this week.
And that's it. You've used them all now. It's just harshness.
We're
We
like
know there's nothing else coming.
we're like genies. You only get 3, no more.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
that's it for the rest of the time.
Because I can see people unsubscribing. No, this isn't what I'm here for.
Ian says chasing an algorithm is no way to communicate factual content and information. Hence,
All right,
the importance of patrons. Yeah, that's very true, Ian. It's
I'm
like
calling it now. Let's go back to MySpace.
I've been watching a particular podcaster who last year, and we've already talked about him this year. I don't feel the need to say his name again now, but last year he was, he's on Rover. It was abysmal in the ratings, and since he took a hard turn right, and especially started to smash on all his thumbnails, say something negative about Te Pāti Māori, they're all like between kind of 5,000 and 20,000 views per video now, which is good for New Zealand, and that, he is now chasing the algorithm, negative right wing talking points, anti Māori. It's you can see it, and you're right, because if we had to do that because we didn't have patrons, we would not put out the content that we wanted. There'd be times we put out content that we knew received good clicks. Now, sometimes when we do a chat, I know that it's going to get a good result online. Sometimes if there is a particular politician on a thumbnail, I know that that's going to get picked up by the algorithm, but we never do it to get picked up by the algorithm. It's a byproduct rather than a plan. And that's because, like on TikTok, I did 2 TikToks last week. Both of them had Jacinda in the thumbnail because it was from the chat that we showed about Pod Save the World. And they were the two biggest TikToks on my feed. They both got about 20 or 25,000 views each from last year. And I knew it was going to do it. Now, I didn't try and crowbar in fact, I've got a third one that I didn't put up because I'm like, oh, that's enough for Jacinda. So I could have put a third one up to try and score another 30,000 views. We didn't. So the views for us when we know it's going to be good are a byproduct. They're not the plan or the focus. When you look at this podcast that I'm talking about, it looks like it's the plan. Oh, we finally found the algorithm that's working for us. YouTube is finally giving us some money. No, not for us, not very much money. But you know, it's like we are able to stay away from that, mostly because of our integrity, but also because our patrons support us, and you support us because you want us to be news focused first rather than click through first, and that's what the others have to do. Sorry.
And we've got to get our lawyers to sign off on the advertising campaign we've got with Lockheed Martin. But that's that. Forget I said anything.
And we're going to be introducing Free Speech Friday shortly, sponsored by the Free Speech Union. It's coming up as well.